Assalamu alaikum everyone, welcome to my channel. Today I'm doing a review of the complete Canadian Curriculum Grade 1 book. So to start off, the book covers 4 subjects: math, English, social studies, and science. You can get the book from your nearest Costco location if they do still carry. My Costco has stopped carrying them. In Ontario, Canada, the price at Costco for this is around $10. But if you purchase it from any of the other bookstores, it's almost twice the price. So I got this book from Amazon. I'll put the link in the description. The book came with this little guide that was like just a small handbook, which I have right here, and that was stuck to the inside of the book. And then when you open the book, you get this little QR code, which you can scan and sign up for the parents club, and there you can access some discounts for future purchases. There are also some free printables, and I haven't explored this yet, but they apparently have a quarterly contest too, and you can win an iPad or more workbooks. So the only thing I don't like about this book is that you have to basically take apart the book completely if you do want to have like separate pages available for your kid. So what I mean by that is when I got the same curriculum in kindergarten for my child, they had perforated pages. So a book this big, my child either gets overwhelmed or bored once he's gone through the book and like he's explored some pages. So what I usually do when I'm teaching him and I'm doing any activities with him is I give him one page at a time. So if the pages are perforated in an activity book, they're easy to tear apart. But this book, besides having perforation or actually just a cut line for the answer section, it didn't have any perforations. So I had to literally take apart the book, and that's the only thing I don't like about it. And I had to put it in a binder like this. So now that it's in a binder, I'll just go over all the different sections it has for each of the subjects, and then we'll go from there. So the first one is mathematics. And to start off, the first thing is comparison. Each page would give you a little section of what is being taught and what words or terms you can use with your child to make them understand. So this one says compare the sizes, heights, and lengths of different things. Use words such as bigger, biggest, taller, and tallest. So your child can color the bigger one, draw the pictures, so a smaller house, a bigger butterfly, smaller cat. Then they can select which one is the taller one, which one is the longer one, and color it. And next, they're putting each group of things in order. So it's good activities like these where they don't have to write everything out. It's like playful activities, interactive, and they just have to kind of go through and just figure out like what's the order of each things, and just put alphabets or like small letter writing. So it's less about writing and more about understanding the concept. Next step is comparison in width, thickness, and weight of different objects. Then there's ordering and sorting by size, heights, and numbers. There's another example over here. Then it's sequencing and small little everyday examples like putting on shoes. So that makes it easier for your child to understand what they are being taught about. So to understand the sequences, it's something they're already familiar with. Next up is ordinal numbers. Numbers 1 to 10. The concept of more than and less than. Addition and subtraction of 1. And these little stickers are how I motivate my son to finish up the page. Once he finishes up, he gets a sticker. Next is subtraction, counting the total, crossing out 1, and what does that leaves you with, using the terms take away and leaves. Next up is addition and subtraction, facts to 6. Addition and subtraction, facts to 10. Vertical addition and subtraction, what's the correct and what is the wrong way to write it. And there's more addition and subtraction. And then we're talking about the plus, minus, and equal signs, so just understanding the terminology and using it accordingly. Numbers 1 to 20. You might notice some of the pages are done over here, some are not, and that's because I follow a monthly newsletter that the school sends, which tells me which topics are being taught every month. So I focus sometimes on that. Sometimes we just go in order of how the pages are. There are sometimes concepts that are already that my son is already familiar with from a previous grade, or there's just too much repetition and he's just not interested anymore. So then if he's showing understanding, I just move on to the next section. So this one is numbers 21 to 100, odd and even numbers, counting by ones, twos, fives, and tens. Money, measuring with non-standard units, capacity, so color the one with the greater capacity, color the one with the greatest capacity. So again, big fonts, colorful pictures. Mass, so compare the order and masses of objects. So check the heavier thing in each pair. Next up is 2D shapes. And then we have more about shapes. So now we're talking about symmetry. Draw the missing parts to make each picture symmetrical. Next step is 3D solids. Then there's directions. So they're starting with in front of, behind, left, and right. Moving on, there's inside, outside, over, and under. So there's all these little like choices that your kid can read the sentence, look at the picture, and then select which one is the right one. So encircle it, color it, cross it off. However, they can show their understanding. Temperatures. So starting with the seasons. Then understanding cold, hot, dressing up accordingly. Days, weeks, months, and times. So understanding a schedule. Months of the year, a calendar, a monthly calendar. Next step is time, so understanding the minute hand, the hour hand. Now we're going on to patterns, so understanding what is in pattern, what isn't. And over here, understanding the pattern and then completing it. So this one is like a round flower and I guess a tulip. So based on that, we're going in again and then finishing here. Next step is organizing data. So by flavor, by size, these are all the options. So your kid can select like how many there are and just write in terms of numbers. And over here, they're teaching tally marks. So then your kid can go through this exercise and do tallies. They already have an example here. Next step is pictographs. So over here, they have the graphs and your kid just needs to answer the questions. Whereas in these two pages, the information is given and your child would just make the pictograph based on that. Then it's concrete graphs. So again, starting with giving the graphs and just answering questions, and then moving on to giving the information and have the child complete the graph. Next up, we have probability. So which of the following are likely to occur? So this kid over here is coloring flowers. So the end result would be either two flowers or a picture of the house. So simple things like that, impossible and certain. And that's it for math. Next up, we have English. So for English, a lot of times it's stories and then questions and the answer things that you have to answer then based on the story. And in between, it's going to start doing grammar as well. For example, over here, they're starting with beginning consonants. Another story. Over here, it's ending consonants. Story again. Short vowels. Story. Then long vowels. And it's giving all the vowels over here, so you can repeat them with your child again and again until they memorize it, and they can always use that as options to then fill in these. Story again. Then we have rhyming words, another story, nouns, story again. We have common nouns, story, proper nouns, story, singular and plural nouns, story, sentences. So understanding the concept that it begins with a complete letter, with a capital letter and ends with a period. Story again, so coloring. Telling sentences, so they end with a period. Story again. Next up is asking sentences. They end with a question mark. Story. Surprising sentences. They end with an exclamation mark. Using capital letter. Understanding the concept of using a capital I. Story. Using capital letters again. Story. Now we're using punctuation marks. So we're reviewing all of them now. Period, question mark, and exclamation mark. And then your kid needs to fill out based on what the sentence is saying. And then there's a punctuation of comma. So using comma, story. And now we're on to subject. Understanding the subject of a sentence. Then we have story again. And now we're talking about pronouns. Next up, another story. Verbs. Story again. The use of am, is, and are. Story again. Next, we're moving on to adjectives. Story. And then we have location words. In, on, behind, beside, over, and under. Story again. And now we're on articles. So a, an, and the, or the. Story. Now we're on connecting words. So and or are, and or. And next we have riddles. And now we're on connecting words, but this time it's a but. Story again. Now we are on word order and sentence. So the dog is walking the girl, or the girl is walking the dog. So there's examples, there's an explanation, and then your kid can go through these, see which ones are the right ones. And over here, they're given a word and they need to put it in a proper order. Then there's another story. Now we have related sentences. So they have 3 sentences and they have to cross out the one that's not related. Story again. And then at the end we have sequences. Sentences should be put in a logical order so that people can follow the idea. And that's where the English part ends up. Next up, we have social studies, and this is the section that I'm having a little bit of trouble with. And I was consulting with my child's teacher, and she mentioned that he goes to a public school. So she mentioned that even in the school curriculum, they're having a little bit of difficulty with teaching the concepts. And I'll go through the pages and explain where I'm having difficulty and where the teacher advised that she's running into similar problem too. So to start off, it's easy peasy. This page has like important information regarding name, age, and so on. This is the section. This is me. So it's asking about members in the family, language, hair color, which hand they write with. Now this section says, I am friendly, helpful, shy, smart, gentle, funny, creative, and kind. My kid at this age was not able to kind of like differentiate. He was kind of like circling every single thing. So maybe your kid would be at a different level and they're able to identify and select like which ones, words relate to them and their personality. But I was having trouble with this section, so we kind of just left it out. Next up is special people. So a dentist, a mailman, and then an elder, teacher, and parent. So the roles between elder and parent were kind of really, I guess, were like overlapping. So this section was a little bit hard to kind of explain to my child. Next up was this one. So this one says, my grandma's house is an important place to me. I can see some buildings and trees on my way there. So the girl's grandma's house is pretty easy, right? From here to here, there's two buildings and trees in between. And then it's asking to draw for my son to draw his special place, which is again grandma's house. But the thing is, it's not as simple to draw. So he's having trouble on like, mommy, what are you even trying to get me to do? Or like, how do I draw it? It's because she lives a little bit far from us. So things like that, like I was trying for him to change it to the library or park or other things. So this is something that I was having trouble with. Next up is special things, or over here it says talk with two friends who have pets, have them draw their pets in the boxes and write why their pets are special. So activity like this I'm doing independently with my child and not necessarily like having him sit down with his friends and do it. So yeah, things like that were like a little bit iffy, like what do I do? Um these were okay. We just haven't done this section. And then this was just a section marking what activities he has done at different ages. So write your birthday to start the timeline, then draw or write an event or activity in each box to show what you did at that age. So we'll get to this later. This one was easy, showing respect. So there's different activities, and your kid has to kind of tell whether they were being respectful or not. He kind of put stickers on all the options. He filled it properly, but then he covered with stickers. So that's why you can't see it, but this was fine. Again, this was more about respecting the spaces, for example, keeping it clean or dirtying it. So next up is this one, which is the write the role of each child in the box. And this was easy too. Like it's a mom brushing the hair. She says, thank you, mom. So she's the daughter. And then this is the student. Next one was this one. So my changing responsibilities, and it's talking over here. I was an only child, but now I have a baby brother. And when they're talking about responsibilities, her new role is a mother, sister, or daughter. So her new role would be a sister, and then her new responsibilities circle the correct role. So he was having trouble because like he doesn't have a sibling, and the other thing was is like the option over there, like changing diapers, singing lullabies, and feed the pet. I don't know what other parents are doing who have more than one kid and who's taking on responsibilities. So this section was like a little bit of a tough one for me, maybe because based on our family dynamic right now. Next one is more changing roles and responsibilities. So then it's talking about at home how we go to the toilet by ourselves versus at school we have to ask, and staying quiet at the library, but then talking out loud if you're at a park. Next one is parents' roles. Okay, this one was also I was having trouble with because it's talking about parents' roles at home versus at work. And he doesn't really understand the concept like meet deadline and earn money, it's fine, buy groceries, but go to work on time, like having them do this at home versus work. So this is something that we were having a little bit of trouble with too. Next is our interaction with others. We haven't done this part yet, but I think he'll be fine. And next is my friends and me. Then new experiences, helping others, my home. So yeah, things like that, like they're a little bit difficult because not like it's this is kind of like too simplified. We live in a townhouse, so it's not kind of represented the same way. So that would be a little like kind of hard to understand. And then my home is cozy, cute, happy, big, or small. So just understanding that concept, I feel like he's gonna have some trouble with, but we'll see when we come to this page how he's going to react, and what understanding he will show. The next one is the nature around me. And then it's my local community, community workers, helping my community at home and then at school. And then, like, children are going to clean things up, draw lines to put the things in the correct bins. So, okay, that's good. They're cleaning still, but they just have to sort it. Then people in their community, the effects of not using garbage cans. Next is areas in the community. This I think might have like a little bit of difficulty with the concept residential, commercial, recreational, and high traffic because of some overlaps in where we live. But let's see how he does with that. Other is locating places. Next is using maps and government workers. Government helps our community through services. Okay, so we'll get to this page too, but I know they haven't done this in school yet, so I'm just waiting for them to introduce the concept, and that would make it a little bit easier for me because this book I use it as kind of practicing what he's already learned in school. So that's about it for social studies. So the last section of this book is science, and in science they're mainly focusing on senses, and then they start exploring materials and other things around us. So first of all, it's about my body. Then draw the lines to match based on activities. Then we have 5 senses, our senses at work. So this is something he was having trouble with too, because a sense of hearing, like I was telling him he can't hear a cookie, it's more to do with taste, but then he's like, well, I can hear it crunch, so cookie does technically belong over here. So sometimes there's just overlapping like senses. Same for sense of sight. He's like, well, when the bell rings, it makes some kind of movement, so I can see it. So over here, like what I understand as an adult is they have all these lines like indicating that the bell is ringing. So this would be something belonging to hearing. So this is something also I was like having trouble with kind of making him like understand the concept of that. It didn't do too well. And then same goes over here, like it's an empty jug. I don't know if it's supposed to have water, but fine, we can smell like egg and pizza, but what about this? And he's like, well, technically the jug has, or like the container has some kind of smell, so I can smell it. And then sense of taste, he's like, well, like I'm not supposed to taste a bulb, but you can taste it. So it's just like section like this I was having some trouble. So sometimes I kind of check in with his teacher if he's having the same kind of difficulty with at school with something similar. And if he's not, then I just leave it. It just means like he just needs different material. Otherwise, we kind of work together to see what his needs are and how to best accommodate him so he learns the concept properly. Living things in their growth. This is something they're doing this month. And next up is needs of living things. Then there's living things and the way they move, patterns in living things, healthful eating, safe and healthful living, objects and materials, and then materials that join, changing materials. We haven't done too much of science yet because he wasn't having trouble with it at school. He loves science. So even like when I'm doing any activities, he's like, oh, can we do the green page or let's do the science page? So he's always up for that. So we're focusing mostly right now until the school year ends on things that he's having trouble with. So this is almost like barely filled out just because he doesn't need really help with this. And usually I give this page to him when it's kind of like time to do activity and not really learning, just something for him to do. So we'll get to these pages eventually. So it's reuse and recycle, energy and the sun, energy and food, smart energy use, structures around us, natural structures, structures together, day and night, seasons. And then we have plants through the seasons, animals through the seasons, and then we're ending on with night animals. So the last section of this book is the answers, and they had these pages at the end, which I just put them in the sleeve and I just took it out of the binding. So the answers are really in depth in terms of like the way they have it organized. So it's by topic, and then like all the answers are numbered, so every single thing is answered, which I find it really helpful. So these are the pictographs that we were going through and the concrete graphs. Usually activity books that other activity books that I've gotten for my kid, they just have the answer of the concepts rather than answer question by question. So I find this really helpful. So that's it for this book. I hope you like this video. Please don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel. If you have any questions or you would like to see any of the pages in depth, please let me know. But yeah, I do hope that you found this video helpful to see exactly what's inside the book. And if there's any other books you would like me to review, please let me know as well. Thank you.